Have you ever wondered why Ferdinand Marcos Jr. could make a better president than Rodrigo Roa Duterte? Welcome to our deep dive into the political landscape of the Philippines, a nation of over 7,000 islands and more than 100 million people. Our focus today is on leadership, a vital force that can shape the destiny of a nation, influencing its economic growth, social development, and international reputation. We are about to embark on a journey exploring the strengths and leadership styles of two significant figures in Philippine politics, Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and Rodrigo Roa Duterte. We'll be comparing their approaches, assessing their impact, and pondering on what makes a leader truly effective. Remember, the choices made in leadership can echo throughout a nation and beyond, affecting lives in countless ways. So, are you ready for an enlightening exploration? Stay tuned as we delve into a comparative analysis of Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and Rodrigo Roa Duterte. So, what makes Ferdinand Marcos Jr. a compelling presidential candidate? Well, let's start with his political experience. Marcos Jr. has served in various capacities within the Philippine government, including as a senator and a governor. This gives him a well-rounded perspective of the workings of different levels of government, and a deep understanding of the challenges and opportunities within the Philippine political landscape. He's not new to the game, and this experience could be invaluable in leading the country. Next, we turn to his focus on national unity. Marcos Jr. has consistently championed the idea of unity, emphasizing the need for Filipinos to come together for the betterment of the country. In a nation as diverse as the Philippines, this focus on unity is a strength that cannot be understated. It's more than just a campaign slogan, it's a vision for a more cohesive Philippines. Then, there's his economic policies. Marcos Jr. has a clear economic vision, one that seeks to promote growth and reduce poverty. His policies focus on creating jobs, improving infrastructure, and encouraging investment. And it's not just about the big cities. His vision includes rural development and agricultural modernization, crucial areas often overlooked in economic discussions. Moreover, Marcos Jr. is a leader with a global outlook. In today's interconnected world, it's not enough to just focus on domestic issues. Marcos Jr. understands this, and his policies reflect a keen understanding of the Philippines' place in the global landscape. His focus on strengthening international relations and promoting the Philippines as a key player in the region could open up many opportunities for the country. So in essence, Ferdinand Marcos Jr. combines a wealth of political experience with a clear vision for the future. His focus on unity and economic growth, coupled with a global outlook, make him a compelling choice for the presidency. A strong leader with a vision, Marcos Jr. brings a unique perspective to the table. Now let's turn our attention to President Duterte. What defines his leadership style? President Rodrigo Duterte, a name that has become synonymous with unconventional leadership. His style is characterized by strongman politics. He's often seen as a decisive leader, willing to take drastic measures to achieve his goals. Duterte's war on drugs is perhaps the most well-known aspect of his presidency. He launched a nationwide campaign against illegal drugs shortly after taking office, promising to eradicate drug-related crimes. This approach, however, has been heavily criticized due to the high number of extrajudicial killings and human rights violations reported during his tenure. His foreign policy approach is another key element of Duterte's leadership style. He notably transitioned the Philippines' foreign relations from a pro-American stance to an independent foreign policy, fostering closer ties with neighboring Asian countries and Russia. This shift, while strategic for some, has raised eyebrows and concerns among others, particularly regarding the South China Sea dispute. Controversies are no stranger to Duterte's presidency. His off-color comments and often brash demeanor have made headlines, both locally and internationally. His approach to governance, which some may see as straightforward and no-nonsense, others see as aggressive and dismissive of traditional diplomatic channels. Despite these controversies, Duterte maintains a strong following. His supporters praise his hands-on approach and his willingness to make tough decisions, often viewing his unconventional tactics as necessary for change. However, It's important to note that leadership is not one size fits all. What works for one may not work for another. And Duterte's strongman tactics, while resonating with some, may not sit well with others. His leadership style, filled with bold moves and hardline policies, has undeniably left a lasting mark on the Philippines. Duterte's leadership style, while effective for some, has been a point of contention for others. So, as we continue this discussion, let's keep in mind that the effectiveness of a leader is often seen through the lens of one's own experiences and perspectives. Before we continue, remember to hit that subscribe button for more amazing content. Don't forget to flick on those notifications as well so you won't miss out on our insightful discussions and captivating stories. Now, back to our discussion. With an understanding of both leaders, let's delve into a comparative analysis. To start, let's look at their leadership styles. Duterte's style is often described as authoritative, with a strong emphasis on law and order. He was known for his tough stance on crime and drug trafficking, resulting in a controversial war on drugs. However, this approach has also been criticized for undermining human rights and due process. On the other hand, Marcos Jr., with his political pedigree, leans towards a more traditional, diplomatic style of leadership. He seems to favor negotiation and compromise over confrontation, and prefers to work within existing systems rather than shaking them up. This approach, while less dramatic, could potentially lead to more stable and sustainable changes. Next, let's consider their impact on the economy. Duterte's economic policies have focused on infrastructure development and reducing poverty. However, critics argue that his methods have led to an increase in national debt and have not sufficiently addressed income inequality. In contrast, Marcos Jr. has proposed a more balanced approach to economic growth, emphasizing the need for both infrastructure development and social services. He argues that economic growth should benefit all Filipinos, not just the wealthy. This approach could potentially address some of the issues of income inequality that have persisted under Duterte's leadership. Then there's the matter of foreign policy. Duterte's approach has been marked by a shift towards closer ties with China, which has been a source of controversy. Some critics feel that this has compromised the Philippines' sovereignty and has not brought the promised economic benefits. Marcos Jr., however, has expressed a desire to maintain strong ties with the Philippines' traditional allies while also seeking to build relationships with new partners. This approach could potentially give the Philippines a stronger position in international affairs and a more balanced set of alliances. Finally, let's consider their approach to governance. Duterte's administration has been marked by a strong centralization of power, with critics arguing that this has undermined the independence of key institutions. In contrast, Marcos Jr. has spoken of the need for strong institutions and checks and balances. He has also emphasized the importance of transparency and accountability in government. This approach could potentially strengthen the democratic process in the Philippines and enhance public trust in government. In conclusion, while both Duterte and Marcos Jr. have their strengths and weaknesses, the differences in their leadership styles could have a significant impact on the Philippines' future. Marcos Jr.'s more traditional diplomatic style and his focus on balanced economic growth, strong institutions, and a balanced foreign policy could potentially address some of the issues that have been a source of controversy under Duterte's leadership. The differences in their leadership styles could have a significant impact on the Philippines' future. So, could Ferdinand Marcos Jr. be a better president than Rodrigo Roa Duterte? Let's take a moment to retrace our steps. We have dissected the strengths of Marcos Jr., his ability to unify the nation, his keen understanding of the economy, and his proven track record in public service. We've seen how these qualities could potentially lead the Philippines toward a brighter future. Meanwhile, we've also examined Duterte's leadership style, bold, unapologetic, and often controversial. While Duterte's approach has its own merits, it has also raised a number of criticisms and concerns, leading some to question his effectiveness as a leader. But remember, this isn't about demonizing one to glorify the other. It's about comparing their approaches and philosophies to leadership, their plans, and their visions for the Philippines. It's about considering who could potentially guide the nation toward a future where its potential is fully realized. In the end, the decision of who makes a better president isn't just about comparing two individuals. It's a decision that should be made with an understanding of the nation's needs, its current situation, and its future aspirations. It's a decision that should be made by the Filipino people, for the Filipino people. And so we conclude this exploration. But the conversation doesn't end here. We encourage you to delve deeper, to ask more questions, to engage in thoughtful discussions. Because in doing so, we not only become more informed, but we also become more involved in the shaping of our nation's future. Subscribe for more amazing content and keep wondering. Until next time, stay curious. Till next, don't miss out on future explorations and discoveries. Hit subscribe and ring the bell to stay updated with our new content. Your journey of wonder continues with every video. Stay connected and engaged on social media. Continue the conversation, follow us. Thank you for being a part of the Have You Ever Wondered community. Keep wondering, keep discovering. Until next time.